Hello everyone, Nate here from Preparation 101. I'm going to quickly do this demonstration of how these let me get the snow off of these guys. How these emergency fire starters work. I'm going to quickly get to a demonstration, and if you'd like to see how I made these, please stay tuned for after the demonstration. When I'm ready to light this, I'm going to grab firmly down here in the base, right in between the two pieces of tape. Grab it as hard as I can, and then I'm going to yank this string with a quick sharp jerk out of here, and I'm going to be igniting matches inside of here to start the fire. I've already got everything prepped. I've got a little base put down, set this on. I left a little piece up high, so when I set this down, set it this way. So when I set this down in here and I lay my material on, it'll be elevated a little bit. But as I mentioned, I've got pine needles, twigs, other twigs. So I'm going to hold it tight, grab the string, and now we have fire. I'm going to set that down. I've tested these. They burn for about 10 minutes, and then they have a hot coal that lasts for quite a while after that. So you've got a lot of time to work with here. I'm just going to loosely drop my pine needles on. If these were more damp, I'd pile them on a little bit thinner, leaving more air gaps so that they heat up. You can see they need a little bit more air than I gave them because it is damp out here. But the point of this is that fire starter down there is going to keep a flame going while you get this material ignited. A good tip I've learned is when you're at this stage, wait till your flames are burning good up past the top piece of wood before you add your bigger pieces on, so that way you're not going to be smothering it. You know everything's good and hot and dry down here to start burning your bigger pieces. And at this stage, you would want to have a good stockpile of these bigger pieces to keep throwing onto your fire, so then it could be going good when you walk away to get even more firewood to put on. But anyways, now we get to stay warm and survive. So first things first, I didn't come up with this idea. Last Bush Survival made a video of how he makes these. That's where I got the idea from. I did mine a little bit different, but so the items that I used: cut up a plastic bottle, used some duct tape in little tiny pieces. These cotton pads, I get them at my dollar store where everything used to be $1. Now they're like $1.25, I think. Jute twine, I have that all over the place for myself. It's pretty cheap stuff as well, and it's very flammable. As you can see, I tested with just a lighter to show you guys. Duct tape burns like a candle. These in Vaseline, without the Vaseline, they just burn up really fast. With Vaseline, it just is like a wick to burn that fuel, and the same with the jute twine. And I just bought this bulk bag of balloons for like $5 off of Amazon for 120 of them. That's really it. And some petroleum jelly also from the dollar store, which is flammable. So these are pretty easy to make yourself. I thought it was kind of a fun thing to try and make my own little version of these, and just keep a couple, you know, like keep one in my fire starting kit that I take out with me, or even in the first aid kit, right? Like somewhere where it's going to store safe. These are matches in here, and the striker's close. I added a little safety feature since I am giving some of these away to people, so that way there's no or I'm reducing the risk of the match heads rubbing on the striker and igniting by accident. Another thing I found with my version is I had the duct tape wrapped around where the match heads are initially, and when I pulled this, it actually didn't allow them to breathe, and they suffocated and did not ignite fully. So I lowered the duct tape a little bit below the match heads, so once the match ignites, it can ignite everything else that's there, the jute twine, the cotton pad, and then it can start burning the duct tape, which is also flammable and will hold a flame quite well even if it gets wet. So that is it, the pull the string fire starters. Now these are not a replacement for a lighter. These are the last ditch. I'm not having a good day and I need a fire right now and nothing's very dry. Use these. They're not a replacement for a lighter. These are matches in here. Matches are not the most reliable ignition source. That's why they give you so many for so cheap, because they break. Sometimes they'll just be a little puff of smoke and no flame. So those are things to keep in mind, that even if your ignition fails, if you have a ferro rod or a lighter, you can ignite that tinder source that's in here with the cotton or the jute. Just in case you haven't seen before, fluff them up. They make really fine fibers and they take a spark really easily. Jute twine does the same thing. You can unravel it and just start pulling it apart. It makes this really fluffy mess in pretty much no time. You can see, which ignites really easily, and that's the whole point of these, is to have easy ignition but also fairly decent amount of burn time. Mine burned for right around 10 minutes. I'll show you what that looked like here. And then it stayed into what was left of it was a pretty hot coal that I could still start anything I wanted to with by blowing on. So this is just great emergency fire starters to have with you. Great little item to help you be more prepared for if things aren't going your way. And it's also just a fun little craft. And as you make and play with your own fire starters, you just become better at starting fires. So that's also a great byproduct. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoy, learn something. If you have any questions or any inputs, please put it in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.